Welcome back to episode 139 of the ATD Baseball Podcast. Unfortunately, we are not in the same room right now. We are back. Well, Kyle's not even at his normal place. He is at an undisclosed location. Um, but I am back home, and it feels nice to be back home. But I miss being in Cooperstown with you and Mikey. But
hmm
uh, podcast rolls on. We got some things that we want to discuss. We got pretty much the whole trade deadline recap as the deadline passed last Thursday. And then we got to talk about our two crappy ass teams right now, the
Yeah.
Dodgers and the Yankees. Because I know I haven't watched a full Yankee game, but I've been seeing clips on Twitter and Instagram. It's not going well for the Yankees, and it's not going well for the Dodgers either, because everybody just in the Dodger lineup just completely forgets how to hit a baseball all of a sudden now, and it's starting to concern me a little bit. But we'll get into that later in the episode. But before we get into all that, Kyle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. We kind of touched on it last week when we were in Cooperstown. Couple days at home, and then I was right back on a flight. So it was,
Yeah.
it's a quick turnaround, but overall, I'm doing good. I'm a little bit tired, but no, good, man. Yeah, you kind of touched on it. The Yankees suck right now; they're terrible. So, on that end, you really don't even need to watch any games. Truly, you just go on Yankees Twitter and you'll get the rundown of what's going on. So. Other than that, man, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I was so happy to be back at work yesterday because so you dropped me off at the airport a week ago yesterday.
hmm
Got home back here like around about 1. I had to make a few errands for my dad, so I got home about 1. Um and I was off this whole week. This last week, the Dodgers didn't return home until yesterday. So believe me, Monday I got my rest. Tuesday I was still feeling a little tired, but by Tuesday night I was pretty much back to normal. Then I was bored, man. I was freaking bored. I was too rested. I was ready to go back to work by like Wednesday night, and I still had the rest of the week. So I'm so happy to be back at work. However, it's gonna be a short turnaround because then I'm leaving town again um, Friday to go take my brother back to college. So um, I guess I'm looking forward to that. I guess,
Yeah.
but my mom's going with me. She hasn't been on a flight since pre 9/11, so that should be interesting.
Uh,
I'm very excited to see that. So,
that's
uh,
that's I mean that's one way to say the timeline. Yeah.
yeah, that should put it in perspective how long it's been since she's been on an airplane. So,
Yeah.
um, but uh, I'm doing well, doing
Mm.
well. Not the Dodgers though; they stink right now. They stink. If you would have told me Tyler Glasnow was going to give you 7 innings of 1 run ball, I would have taken it. But here's the problem: the Dodgers only had 1 hit through 7 innings,
hmm
and they lost the game yesterday 3-2, and they had their chances in the ninth inning to come back and at least tie the game, but of course they couldn't do it. And specifically, Mookie Betts is really starting to piss me off here a little bit. I'm kind of getting annoyed now with him. But again, we'll say that at the end. Answer your question, I'm doing well. Um, we're gonna recap the whole trade deadline right now. We're not gonna go through every single move, because we'll give you pretty much like the big ones and stuff. I hate that we have to mention them, but San Diego Padres were pretty much the big winners of the trade deadline. I would say, um, along with some other teams. But is there a specific move that you want to touch on first?
Um, I don't think necessarily touching on first. I'm kind of
Well,
good.
which move was your favorite?
Okay. Yeah. Man, it's
Alex Call of the Dodgers. That was my favorite move.
no. If I had to pick one, I mean, the obvious is Mason Miller. Am I right? I mean, it's the obvious. Mason Miller is I mean, he's the one of the game's top closers. He's so young. He's got so many years of control. AJ Preller is he's always has his hands in this deadline every single year. And this year he brought back somebody who, I mean, it gives you flashbacks of when they got Juan Soto a few years ago. I mean, they had a hell of a deadline. And Mason Miller, man, I mean, I can't really say much about that. There's not much that I can say that's not already said. You pairing him up with Robert Suarez in the back end of that bullpen in San Diego, I mean, that's lethal. It's deadly. And if they make it into the postseason, dude, the I mean, that bullpen is good enough. Your middle ended relievers are good enough to get you to the seventh inning. And that's even if your starter only goes 4 or 5 innings, whatever it is. And then you pass off the eighth and ninth inning to Robert Suarez and Mason Miller. That's disgusting. I don't know if there's a better 1-2 punch in baseball. So I mean, there's not much else I can say more than that. I mean, Mason Miller he's the hot commodity on the deadline, and honestly, so were relievers, man. That was the big thing. Relievers, that market for relievers and closers was ridiculous. So yeah, we'll kind of start there. I mean, Mason Miller to the Padres. I think that's a huge move.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I am a Dodger fan. I'm a delusional, arrogant Dodger fan more often than not, but I'm not stupid either. But that's a good move. Now, would I have given up a top five prospect in baseball? Maybe not. But
Yeah.
again, I understand what AJ Preller is doing. I understand it.
Hmm.
And the thing that I never understood, and again, I hate to give them credit again, they did not trade because the whole day, once they acquired Mason Miller that morning, that Thursday morning, then all these rumors, and you even started to hear them before the trade even happened, that they're looking to trade Robert Suarez and looking to trade Dylan Cease. And for me, it's like, okay, I understand why you'd want to get rid of Dylan Cease because he hasn't been good this year. But I
Yeah.
don't know what teams would have been able would wanted to take him. I know the Astros were interested and they were close to getting the deal done with him. But to me, I just never understood. Well, why would you trade everybody else? Like,
Yeah.
if you already pushed all your, well, literally you pushed all your prospects out. I mean, we can go down the line here of the things that AJ Preller has done in the last 3 years alone.
Yeah.
How much talent he's gotten rid of in the prospects to these other teams. But
I mean,
um,
man, they were trying to get Mackenzie Gore back on this deadline.
exactly, and that tells
The
you
guy
everything
that,
you need. Yeah, they shipped out for Juan Soto. That should tell you everything you need to know. But the thing that I never understood, it's like you're already going all in. Why would you want to trade Robert Suarez in the bullpen? Now, I get the logic. Hey, we got Mason Miller with more years of control. Robert Suarez is a free agent at the end of the season. It makes sense to move on, but to move him and get something back for him. But if you're already pushing out all these prospects and you're already going all in for him, why don't you just keep him around?
yeah.
And again, I was hoping by 3 o'clock, Pacific time, 6 o'clock Eastern time, I was hoping that Robert Suarez was no longer on the Padres anymore and on another team. But it was quickly, everybody quickly realized that just wasn't going to happen. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean they're going for it. And listen, if it wasn't for the Dodgers kind of getting in their own way here and allowing the Padres to get back in the division here a little bit, I don't know if these moves happen. I
Yeah.
really don't. Because go back to the beginning of the summer in June, the Dodgers had like a 8-9 game lead over the Padres and the Diamondbacks at the
Hmm.
time, and had that lead either increased or stayed about the same. Who knows if the Padres are making these moves at the trade deadline? Now, maybe they're in a wild card position and maybe they still go for it, but I don't know if AJ Preller is that aggressive this year. If the division is like 8-9 games, but at the time it was 3 games, and it's still at 3 games right now. Um, the Padres are right there with the Dodgers in terms of like getting this division. Listen, here comes bias Melo again. I still think the Dodgers are going to win this division as shitty as they've been playing the last couple of weeks, but um, you got to be careful. You've got to be careful. You did this last year, and Kyle firsthand saw how frustrated I was at the end there. The Dodgers let the Padres hang around, and it took until that last weekend of the regular season for the Dodgers to put the Padres and the NOS division to bed. And unfortunately, it looks like we're gonna have to do that again this year, where
Yeah.
we're gonna have one eye on the Dodger game. I'm going to have another eye watching the Padres and root for any team that they're playing against, because that's because the Dodgers are playing with their food a little bit, and the Padres, not only got Mason Miller, but they got Ramon Laureano, they got Ryan O'Hearn, they got all these other pieces in there. They added 7 new players to their roster, and I think more than half of them are going to be impact players for them immediately.
Yeah.
So, what a job by AJ Preller. I know he was dubbed king of the trade deadline, which I mean, listen, I can't deny that.
No.
I can't deny it. But um, another move that I really liked, and I think another one of my winners here. How about the Seattle Mariners?
Hmm.
Seattle Mariners. Now listen, we heard rumors all pretty much all week that Eugenio Suarez was more than likely going to be traded back to his former team, um, the Seattle Mariners. But we had heard other teams. We had heard the Cubs. We had heard the Detroit Tigers. We thought that was going to happen because the Tigers and the Diamondbacks played um, a series last week before leading up to the trade deadline, and it looked like he was just going to go across to the other clubhouse. But the Mariners came in and they had a really good trade deadline, getting Josh Naylor from Arizona and getting Eugenio Suarez from Arizona. And I understand that they are still not in first place in their division as of today. They're 3 games back of Houston for um, first place in the American League West. Um, I really think that we're heading now. It all depends on what happens in the East with Toronto, but again, maybe we're getting to that point where it's like, shit, maybe they actually are good this year.
Yeah.
Because I remember a month ago, it's like when they started to turn this around. I'm like, all right, we still need to see a little bit more, but I really believe that uh, your American League representative. I think it's going to be either the Mariners or it's going to be the Tigers this year. I really believe that. I know
Okay.
the Tigers haven't played that well in the last couple of weeks, but I think just how good um, the Mariners have played, how good the Mariners trade deadline was last week, and how much better they're gonna play, and how much better they have been playing. I would be shocked if the Mariners don't win the American League West this year. I would be shocked. I would be disappointed too. They had such a good trade deadline. They're playing better. They have all the pieces. I really believe that not only the Mariners had a great trade deadline, but I think they should be in first place by the end of this season. I really believe that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it Seattle has the same tone and dance every single year. It's one of those things where the pitching staff is always great, but the lineup is not. And now you get a guy like Suarez back into that lineup, and you're pairing him with Josh Naylor, Julio Rodriguez. I mean, and obviously Cal Raleigh too, who's probably going to win AL MVP this year. I mean, that team is finally starting to get that lineup a little bit, toe to toe with their pitching staff. And that's exactly what we've been calling for years with the Seattle team. And I said it last week, and I think I say it again. I mean, Cal Raleigh, I think he's kind of he's the backbone of the Mariners trade deadline this year. If it wasn't for Cal Raleigh having an historic season and keeping the Mariners afloat in the AL West, that's huge, man. And kind of touching on the AL West a little bit, I thought Houston had a pretty good trade deadline too. I would have liked to see more though, and there was talks and rumors about them going after a starter. You mentioned earlier they were connected to Dylan Cease, Sandy Alcantara out of Miami. Um, I would have liked to see another starter in Houston. That's why I'm a little iffy about that. But getting Carlos Correa back, and then obviously trading for Jesus Sanchez from Miami, I think those were two good moves to bolster the lineup. And yeah, I think that's huge, especially with Isak Paredes going down out for the year. So you get Carlos Correa back in Houston, and not only is he back in Houston, but he's playing third base now. I also think that is there's some players who will do well in certain situations. And Correa, maybe his Twins tenure wasn't exactly what we thought, but I think with him back in Houston, he's going to be playing with fire under him. He's back in Houston. He's playing for the Houston crowd, back where it all started, everything else. I think that's going to help him, whether anybody likes it or not. Correa, I think, is going to play above his game, specifically because he's back in Houston. So that was also another move that I really liked. I'm not sure if you had anything else on those two teams. Um, but I did also want to mention another another team is the Phillies, Johan Duran and Harrison Bader. Um,
Yankees
Dave,
legend Harrison Bader.
yes, Dave Dombrowski does it again. I mean, he's one of those GMs who will consistently put money in. every single year to whatever team he's hired by, whatever it is. And Johan Duran, he solidifies a bullpen that needed so much help. And we already seen little glimpse of him in Philly. I think I don't want to deem them as a winner of the trade deadline because there wasn't enough done. I still think they have a bit of an outfield problem there. Brandon Marsh is kind of a liability. There was talks about them shopping Nick Castellanos at the deadline. Yeah, you're bringing in Harrison Bader, and don't get me wrong, I love Harrison Bader. I think he's a phenomenal player, and I think in the right situation he can play above his means depending on how he is. And I think Philly's a good place for him, but they still worry me a little bit there in the outfield. And I don't think they did enough to the bullpen. Now, don't get me wrong, reliever prices were sky high, so I get it. But Johan Duran, I mean, one of the best closers in baseball. So it was electric seeing him in Philly, and I thought the Philly crowd got behind him pretty well.
Absolutely. Another team that I really like their trade deadline. How about the New York Mets? How about that? The New York Mets getting Cedric Mullins, getting Ryan Hensley from the Cardinals.
Yeah,
Uh, I
they
like it,
also
man.
they also got Tyler Rogers.
Yes, they also got Tyler Rogers too. Again, the Mets needed some help on the bullpen. Now they have it. If you know, we've seen this a bunch of times, and we saw it last year. If Edwin Diaz again, we get into these postseason series, and he has one of these episodes again where he comes out there, he throws like 8 straight balls, and he puts 2 runners on base. Hey, at least you got Ryan Hensley's back there. Um, to either close the game or to help pick up the mess from Edwin Diaz. But and then also too, Cedric Mullins. Really like that. He's a good outfielder, a good outfielder, and he's gonna play well with the Mets. And anything you get offensively is just a bonus.
Yeah,
So, I really, really like the moves that um, the Mets have made, and I really it's crazy. These it's gonna be a 2 horse race going to the end here with the Phillies and the Mets, and I'm very excited to see who comes out on top.
yeah, absolutely. I will also say, I think, I mean, I'm kind of going through all of our trades here and everything. Um, I hate to do it, I really do, but I liked what the Yankees did, man.
Yeah,
The they're
they
not
did. They
playing.
made the moves you're supposed to make.
They did. They did what they were supposed to, and here's the thing, okay? So I'll touch base on this when it comes to the Yankees recap towards the end of this podcast and everything else. But I'm gonna talk about the moves itself here for a second. So they started off the trade deadline by getting Ahmed Rosario, a bench piece who I mean, he's a contact hitter and he will get on base. So I like that off of the bench. You then move. After that, you get Austin Slater. That's not a sexy name at all, but let me tell you, his splits against left-handed pitching, him and Rosario are, I'm sorry, right-handed pitching. They mash right-handed pitching, and that's the Yankees have been kind of missing that a little bit. And both these guys coming off the bench, it makes sense. And then obviously the big thing here, bullpen. I mean, uh, they also got Jose Caballero from Tampa Bay, which I think is extremely underrated. I love Caballero's game, and I loved what he provided for Tampa Bay. It's I like it, man, and it was mid game too, which I thought was kind of funny. Um, and then last but not least for the Yankees here, they got 3 relievers from number one Jake Bird. They got from Colorado. His numbers are okay, but it
Uh,
hasn't translated over to the game. Next is David Bednar. I was a huge fan of that move. David Bednar. I mean, he is. It's hard to see where he fits in with this team. But I've always liked his game, and I met his uncle in Philly,
yes,
so that was pretty cool.
it was meant
And
to be.
yes, and then last but not least, Camilo Duvall from San Francisco. You now have 4 closers on this team, which is kind of cool to think about. It's this closer role has been insane for the Yankees over the last couple of years, and now they got 4 of them to choose from. And then I'll touch base after that when it comes to the Yankees recap. But Brian Cashman did what he had to do at this deadline and what he had to work with. I just the moves itself, I like what I saw out of that.
Yeah. I don't want to say the Dodgers were a loser this
Hmm.
deadline, but it was kind of underwhelming. Now, listen, I had a real good feeling because I heard it straight from the horse's mouth. I had heard it from Andrew Friedman and Brandon Gomes in the off season and about a month ago before this trade deadline happened. They were not going to be super aggressive.
Yeah.
Unless there was somebody that we did not know about that was available at the deadline. Listen, like the stuff, like the Dodgers, they have problems in house, and I don't think there was somebody that impactful that was going to come in here and fix it,
Hmm.
or at least try to get it back on the right track. Um, and Andrew Friedman said it during the offseason. It's like the whole idea of bringing in guys like Kirby Yates, Tanner Scott, all these bullpen pieces, starting pitching. You know, the whole idea was so we don't have to do this in July,
Yeah.
because obviously the price you're going to pay is a lot more.
Hmm.
And they stood by their guns. They did bring in Alex Call and they did bring in Brock Stewart, but so they did something. But the big move, they didn't get a Mason Miller. They couldn't get to the finish line with uh now his name's not coming to now his name Stephen Kwan.
Hmm.
They couldn't get to the deal with him, which I understand. Some of the things that they wanted, get the hell out of here. You're crazy. Um, so this was one of those deadlines. And usually the Dodgers, Andrew Friedman, Brandon Gomes, they're usually one of the most aggressive people at the trade deadline. Not to the extent of AJ Preller or Dave Dombrowski, but the Dodgers are not afraid to go for it too. And they did it last year. It paid off with Tommy Edman, Michael Kopech, and Jack Flaherty. Those were three pieces that helped you win a championship last year. Those and just with the group of people that were out there, wasn't there. Wasn't there. So I don't want to call the Dodgers a loser because you don't want to overspend for these guys. You don't want to have to overpay for these guys. And the Dodgers usually don't do that, especially with relievers. They don't unload the farm for relievers. They'll do it for starters and um they'll do it for bats, but they will not do it for relievers. And
Yeah.
they stood by their guns again this trade deadline. So um the Dodgers are banking on that. Hey, this team just has to get healthy, and they just have to play better. You know, and if they can all play better, and if everybody can just get back healthy in the bullpen, this team is still going to be tough to beat in a couple months here. But we
Yeah.
just haven't seen it, and they have to get healthy. So that was a big reason why the Dodgers really didn't do much. They did ship out James Outman and Dustin May. James Outman, I'm so glad he's off this team. I don't want to see him anymore. I mentioned this in one of the comments section on an Instagram post that I saw right when he got traded. He kind of lost me in the division series game 1 2 years ago when he dropped the fly ball um, to start the game. Kind of lost me right there. And
Hmm.
he had a good start to his career in 23, but then just never panned out. And then Dustin May, that one hit a little bit more home because I remember when Dustin May was coming up in 2019, we all thought that him and Buehler were like the future of this team, like the future 1-2 punch of the Dodgers rotation. And you know, unfortunately, it never really worked out with Dustin May.
Yeah.
He had trouble staying healthy, which well, haven't you heard that before? You've never heard that before. A Dodger pitcher trying to stay healthy, but um, couldn't really stay healthy, and then just kind of lost out of the shuffle of the rotation. And the Dodgers wanted to put him in the bullpen. Dustin May didn't want to, which I get it because he is a free agent at the end of the season, so he wants to see if he can get a new contract somewhere else. I get it. So he could go to a team like the Red Sox that needs starting pitching, where he'll get his start every fifth or sixth day. So I get it. It sucks losing a guy like Dustin May because again, he helped us win a championship in 2020. People forget that. Like he was like the opener, and
Hmm.
sometimes he would come out of the bullpen, but he helped us win a championship in 2020. So I'll always be thankful for Dustin May. But the Dodgers a lot of people said they underdelivered. I don't see it like that. Like the Dodgers told you that they weren't going to go crazy this year unless there was somebody super impactful that they
Yeah.
believe that can help them win now. Which for the Dodgers, that person wasn't out there. You know,
Mm.
Alex Call and Brock Stewart, baby. That's your winners right there. You know, Brock Stewart actually looked pretty good. I mean, he pitched well in Tampa. He almost got out of a. He gave up two BS singles in the top of the ninth inning yesterday. He had runners on the corners with no outs. He got two. He got a pop out to Friedman, and then he got a strikeout with two outs, and then he gave up a soft single, and the Cardinals took the 3-2 lead, and they won the game. So he almost got out of it though. But um, Dodgers didn't have that great of a deadline, but I'm not surprised because they told you they weren't going to do that. So
Yeah. And then, so just to kind of put a bow on this trade deadline, just some smaller moves that happened. Kenta Maeda, he signed a minor league deal with the Yankees.
Dodgers legend
Yes. um, I'll touch more on this with the Yankees, but Marcus Stroman was released. Um, let me see what else here. Yeah, Dustin May to Boston. Nestor
Shane
Cortez.
Bieber to the Blue Jays. That
Yes,
kind of went under the radar a little bit too.
it did a little bit. That Shane Bieber, I think that is one of the most underrated trade deadline moves, in my opinion, because I mean he looked really good. I believe it was 4 innings of one hit ball
Yeah,
in his minor league start. That
he's
looked
supposed to
really
make
good.
another one too.
Yeah.
I think
So
one more, then he'll join the club.
if the Blue Jays can get even an ounce of what Shane Bieber is about, that's going to be an extremely underrated move. Um, the Padres got Nestor Cortez, and Phil Maton went to the Texas Rangers. Oswald Peraza, Yankees legend, got traded to to the Anaheim Angels.
Damn right, you better say that correctly.
Willie Castro, he was a big name on the market. He went to the Cubs. Merrill Kelly went to Texas. Um,
God, I forgot about that.
yeah, Ramon Laureano was also he went to the Padres as well. Um, we touched on the Houston moves. Um, the let's see what else we got here. Uh, Paul Sewald went to the Tigers, which I think is underrated. I mean, Paul Sewald, if he's another one, he's a guy who flew under the radar, and he hasn't necessarily been great recently since his departure from Arizona. But if again Detroit, I mean, Detroit's been good this year. So honestly, like any bullpen piece that they can get to eat up some innings or whatever it is gonna be a win. Zach Littell went to Cincinnati. Um, yeah, Helsley to the Mets. Key Brian Hayes went to the Reds. That was another move. Yeah, I mean, sure, I guess he was a name on the market that we knew would get moved. Sir Anthony Dominguez went to Toronto. Chris Paddock going to Detroit. I think that's another underrated move. Detroit really flew under the radar on this trade deadline, and I like what they did, man. I really do. Chris Paddock. I mean, he's always one of those guys that will go out there and he's an old fashioned starter. He's a guy he has no problem going 6 7 innings, and that's huge when it comes to being in a postseason race. Um, Eric Fetty went to Atlanta, and I think that's about sums up the trade deadline. So before we completely move on here, who's your winner and your loser of the trade deadline?
I can't give you. I gotta give you more than one. There's
Okay.
too many winners and losers.
Okay.
For me, my three winners: Padres, um, Mariners, Padres, and I'll throw the Phillies in there. I'll put the
Okay.
Phillies in there just because they had a clear hole in the back of their bullpen that they needed to replace, and they did that. My three losers are the fans of Minnesota, um, the Chicago Cubs, and I'm gonna be a little harsh here. I'm gonna say the Tigers. Oh, one of
Mm,
my losers. I really
okay.
thought the Tigers should have done more. I was a
Okay.
little disappointed. I thought they should have, I heard the rumors that they were interested in Suarez. I heard all these other things. I thought the Tigers should have been a little bit more aggressive. Now maybe they like their team, and I can get along with that. But I really thought the Tigers should have done a lot more. Especially now you got it's no, from a couple like 2 months ago, it was very clear that the Tigers were the best team in the American League. There's some teams that are now slowly getting behind them.
Hmm.
Here come the Blue Jays and here come the Seattle Mariners and the Astros. So I'm gonna be a little harsh and say I think the Tigers should have done more. So they're one of my losers.
Okay. Winners for me, definitely the Padres. I think that's a clear cut. Um, I'm gonna say Detroit's a winner for me, only because yes, they didn't get the big names that they were sought after, but the little moves that they did, I like them. Chris Paddock really was a lot for me, and that's a big move, solidifying that pitching rotation. And I think the lineup is pretty good where it's at, and I would have liked to see another reliever getting into that Detroit bullpen, but I think overall I'm okay with what they did. And my last winner for me is just to be a little bit different. I'm going with the Mets. Um, I I really like what they did, bringing in an impactful bat like Cedric Mullins, kind of pairing him in that outfield, and then obviously the bullpen moves that they made was pretty big. Um, Losers, definitely the Twins. I never understand what the Twins do, man. I mean, they're
Should have
they,
traded Buxton
they
at that point.
I mean, that's a whole nother topic. Byron Buxton. I don't think I've ever seen a guy a guy love Minnesota as much as he does. The Twins. I I want to say I'm being really harsh here, but I'm okay with it because I wanted to see more, and they have a GM who is known for doing more, and that's the Phillies, man. They had the hole.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean they had the hole in the bullpen, which don't get me wrong, Johan Duran is huge. I'm not saying anything wrong about that move, but there's still just a little bit that I wanted more of out of Philly. Um, if I had to give you a last loser, Toronto, I would say.
Yeah.
I would say Toronto. Don't get me wrong. I love the Shane Bieber move, but past that, what it's I mean, you're still in a division that is it's up and down. There's no consistency in the AL East. I totally understand that, but there is a chance that Boston gets hot and takes you over. There is a chance that the Yankees figure out whatever the hell they're doing and kind of get back on track a little bit. And you still have teams like the Rays, and Baltimore's been playing well too. I'm not saying they're going to overtake you in the division, but I'm saying that they are teams that can lose you games in the division. Guys, I mean, these are teams that are sneaky, that will steal a few wins from you, even though you're supposed to win those games. We've seen that happen. It happens every single year. Um, so for Toronto, I think I would have liked to see more. You know, maybe I I think what really would have solidified it for me, and it's kind of in house too. I would have liked to see, and I know that this is far and few, but I would have liked to see Bo Bichette get extended. Um, I mean, they did it with Vladdy, and for me, I think if you lose out on Bo Bichette, that's obviously talk for another time. But I think I would have liked to see more at this trade deadline from Toronto. But overall, yeah, another deadline come and gone, and it was fun. It's always fun during this time.
Absolutely, and two things, and then we'll get off of this. Number one, I really want to hammer the point home too with the Cubs. They were one of the biggest losers this trade deadline to me. Like
Mhm.
you have number one, you got the Brewers now breathing down your neck, and if not, I think they're in first place as of today. Um, in the NL Central, it's going to be a two-horse race. Going down this with division with these two, and I know the Brewers didn't do much either, but historically, the Brewers have never shown that they do much of the trade deadline. They historically, but um, and
That
you not to mention you have a pending free agent and Kyle Tucker this year.
Hmm.
that, you know, okay, let's what happens if the Cubs don't win the division? They have to play in a 3-game wild card series, and I don't know, they get matched up against the San Diego Padres, and you
Yeah,
lose that series, and then all of a sudden you had this good season, and then you're out in round one. Does Kyle Tucker want to stick around for that? It's like, hey, like, we didn't do anything big to address our needs at the deadline, you know, and because of it, we lost the division, and then we got hammered by the Padres in San Diego. I'm just saying, Kyle Tucker can leave, and then what? Then we're right back to square one again with this Cubs team that has had a hard time. They've been in the middle. They're not. This was the first year in a while where it's like, all right, cool. Maybe they're starting to ascend of one of the best teams in the National League, and now they've kind of tailed off a little bit here.
yeah, and I mean to kind of hammer your point a little bit more, they're currently 3 games back of Milwaukee
There
in the
you go.
NL Central, and that's tough, man. Especially with a team like Milwaukee, they've been playing extremely well this year, and um, they're showing no signs of slowing down. I love what's going on in Milwaukee. I think they have a really good team out there.
Maybe they should have waited to give Jed Hoyer his extension. Just saying. I don't know. Maybe we
Yeah,
should have hold on with the extension. Maybe let the trade deadline go by first, see what he does or what he doesn't do,
yeah. What he
and then
doesn't.
maybe what he doesn't do. Then we can discuss contract extensions here. But I just really wanted to hammer that home. And lastly, and then we'll get off of this. I can see it now. Game 5, NLDS, Dodgers Padres. Today's August 5th. It is currently 10:51 a.m. LA time. I can see it now. Game 5, NLDS Dodger Stadium. It's a tie ball game. Robert Suarez pitches a scoreless 8th inning. No runs. Mason Miller pitches a scoreless 9th inning. No runs. Nestor Cortez comes in. Boom, Freddie Freeman gives up a solo home run. Dodgers go to the National League Championship Series. I could see it. I could see it again. Oh, give that to me, please. I can see it. Just saying.
Things are bad enough over here, man. And you just gotta you gotta drag.
That no, that's not. That's not what I meant. That was not supposed to be spite at the Yankees. That was not. That
It's
was
all
not. That was not my intention. That was supposed to spite the Padres.
I
You
could, yeah, no, I get it. I mean, the hope is that the Padres don't put Nestor in a situation like that yet again. So,
I mean, like I said, when Mike Schilt wants to get cute, again, mark this down too. When he wants to get cute in Game 5 of a winner-take-all division series, pulls his starter after 5 innings, brings all his bullpen pieces in, has no relievers left, and then puts Nestor out there. Then he blows the game in the 10th inning.
yeah,
I could see it. I'm just
no,
saying. I could see it.
I get it.
All right. Last thing, we'll touch on our teams and then we'll call it a day because Kyle wants to get back to living the sweet life. So, um, I'll touch on my Dodgers first.
Yeah,
Uh, I'm not liking what I'm seeing out of this. I'm really not. Like, it's so underwhelming. You know, like they had a winning road trip. They were 5-4, and then they took 2 out of 3 from um, Tampa Bay Rays, which I was pleased with. They could have lost 2 out of 3, or they could have got swept in that heat. And then freaking Yandy Diaz hitting Yankee Stadium like home runs off of Blake Snell on Saturday. That was not fun to watch. Two home runs that he hit. One of them was only a home run at Steinbrenner Field, Salud, and then the other one was only a home run in 3, so that bothered me. And then they come home yesterday. Tyler Glasnow pitches fantastic. He gives you 7 innings of only one run ball, and then the offense is completely non-existent. Completely non-existent. They had one hit up until the 8th inning. The only run and hit they had was a Freddie Freeman solo home run. That was it. That was it. Um, and then Mookie Betts. Holy shit! This is getting annoying now. His OPS for the last week It's under 300. It's like 2 something. That's how bad it is right now. You know, Miguel Rojas has a higher on base and slug than Mookie Betts right now. That's a problem. That's a problem. Um, the Dodger fans tried to give him a standing ovation yesterday. I guess they kind of did. It was kind of half and half. Half of the crowd was standing, the other half were like, "Why are we doing this?" You know.
Yeah.
But he had another O for yesterday. It's just now we're going the other way. Before the problem, a month ago, the problem was the Dodgers were scoring all these runs, but then they had no pitching. So they were losing games 10-7, 11-8. Now that they have the pitching, now they're losing games, but now they can't hit. So now we're losing games 3-2, 4-0, 3-1. It's just it's annoying. It's so frustrating. And again, I'm doing the best I can not to panic and not to blow up on anybody, you know. But it's like watching, what's that saying? It's like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
That's what it's like trying to watch the Dodgers hit a baseball right now, you know. And I'm not going to get on him because but Shohei Ohtani, Jesus Christ, can you not swing at a ball outside the strike zone just one time, please? Like, just I think Shohei Ohtani is trying to do too much right now.
Yeah.
I think he knows that the lineup behind him is scuffling a bit, and he is too. I don't want that to go unnoticed either. I think he's trying to do too much. He's trying to be the one that is hitting the home runs and getting the guys going, and he's striking out just as much as the other ones. So um, just the Dodgers have to get back to good habits here. Stop striking out so much. Put the ball in play. Take your walks. Trust the guys behind you.
Hmm.
That's how the Dodgers won a championship last year. Being unselfish. And right now, they're not being unselfish. I get it. It's a long season. We're in the dog days of August right now. But can I just see this team for a week play somewhat good baseball? The Dodgers haven't won 3 games in a month. 3 games in a row. They haven't won 3 games in a row in like a month. Now, again, I say all this like we're, out of a playoff spot and, we're chasing all these other teams. We're still in first place and we still have like the second best record of the National League.
Hmm.
But I know this team can play so much better. I know they can. And I'll leave you with this. I am banking on, because the Dodgers kind of did this last year too, where they weren't playing that great. There was another level I know this team could play at. I didn't see it the whole summer. Well, I saw it when it mattered the most in October.
Hmm.
I am banking on that's going to happen again. I'm banking on that. Pitchers are doing their job. Bullpen has to get healthy. Freddie Freeman is starting to pick it back up again. I need these other guys in the lineup to start getting going here because it's getting very frustrating.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So I want to talk about a team who's kind of at a playoff spot right now. We're getting there. I'll tell you that much. This Yankees team, man, I truly don't even know where to start. I'll start with the trade deadline. Okay. So the trade deadline, I felt very confident in, and I usually don't do this often, but I will give Brian Cashman his flowers. He had a damn good trade deadline, and he addressed what the Yankees needed to do without giving up a big top prospect. Spencer Jones is still on the team. Jason Dominguez, and I know he's not a prospect anymore, whatever. And George Lombard Jr. They are all still in the Yankees system. And I think the highest prospect we gave up was the eighth best prospect in our in our farm system, and it was a catcher. Okay, so the Yankees, if you don't know, the Yankees are extremely good at developing catchers. So I'm okay with it. The Yankees have shipped off so many good catchers in the last 2 years that it's kind of just it's whatever. The Yankees will develop. That's just how it goes. That's another thing I have to give the Yankees credit for. The catching development within this farm system is off the charts. I don't know if there's a better team that develops catchers like the Yankees do. Now, going back to the trade deadline, Cashman did what he had to. I would have liked to see a starter, but after seeing some of those starter prices, I'm okay with it, especially because of how much he did with the bullpen. Um, those starter prices, they were sky high. The Yankees were in on Sandy Alcantara, and they were trying to get George Lombard Jr. or Spencer Jones, and that just wasn't happening. Um,
Not this year.
no. So
Need
the
to see
next
a
best,
little bit more out of Sandy Alcantara first before you
absolutely,
can ship away one of those big prospects like that.
absolutely. And looking at it now, the bullpen was addressed. I like what Brian Cashman did, and it makes sense. But Bednar kind of shit the bed his first appearance. So did Jake Bird. Duvall was decent. He was okay. But this team is just, I don't even know if it's on the players. Like, I'm sorry. I don't even know if it's on the coaching staff or the front office. I don't know what the hell it's on. But these, dude, it's fundamentals. That is what is killing the Yankees right now. That defense is ridiculous. It's they forgot how to field balls, man. When it comes to ground balls, dude, they're just slinging it. And there's so many, like the Yankees have one of the they are in the top of the league for most errors committed. And they have individual player wise, they have the highest player who's committed the most errors, which is Anthony Volpe. Like I just don't understand it. The base running is ridiculous. Jazz got picked off in Miami the other day. Austin Wells
I
with his
saw that.
base, dude. It's so frustrating because this team is not a bad team. Okay, and I'm the first one to shit on the Yankees all the time, but this team on paper is not bad. They are a top American League team. I still truly believe that when they are at their best and fully healthy, this team is arguably, and that's with Garrett Cole, that's with Aaron Judge, all the guys, they are arguably the best team in the American League. I'm not taking that away from them, but they're not playing like it. They play like shit recently. It's ridiculous, and I don't understand it. It's literally just the fundamentals of baseball. They forgot how to hit. They forgot how to pitch. They forgot how to field. They forgot everything. So that leads me to my next point here. Aaron Boone needs to go. I don't know how much more I can take of this. Now, am I saying this is all on Aaron Boone? No, it's not. But somebody needs to be held accountable. Somebody does. And unfortunately, in today's game, it's the manager 9 times out of 10. And we have seen this song and dance for so damn long. Joe Torre got kicked out of New York because he didn't win the World Series in, I believe it was a stretch of 4 straight years. And you mean to tell me that Joe Girardi he got the can the moment after the Yankees came away from one win of the World Series, later to find out that they lost to a cheating team. And then you bring in a guy like Aaron Boone, okay, who has sniffed the World Series once. Okay, we made it to the World Series once and we got embarrassed because the Dodgers exploited every single one of the Yankees' holes on defense. And what do you do in the offseason? Well, you shore up your defense, which is what they did. Now, fast forwarding to August 5th of 2025, Aaron Boone is in his 8th year of managing and has nothing to show for it except for early exits, except for heartbreak in the postseason, and a puppet of the front office. And that's exactly what this is. I don't understand why the hell Aaron Boone's job security is so damn good. I don't get it. And something needs to give. After getting swept by Miami for the first time in franchise history, you go into Miami and you get embarrassed. I mean, you lose 13-12, the heartbreaker on Friday. You lose 2-0 on Saturday, and then 2 days ago you lose 3-7. Okay, cool, whatever. Trade deadline, guys are getting used to their new team, whatever it is. Well, now you have the second series, which started yesterday against Texas. You lose a heartbreaker, and you saw it coming, dude. You're winning. You take the lead in the ninth inning, and then you bring in Devin Williams to close out the game. And I saw the moment I got that notification on my phone that Devin Williams was coming in to close out the game, I knew to myself that the Yankees were going to lose. And they were winning 5-4. This team is just, it's so predictable. It is so predictable. And if I can predict what's going to happen, I can only imagine what Bruce Bochy on the other side of the dugout feels. It's This shit is just ridiculous. They lose 8-5 yesterday. They're 0-4 since the trade deadline. And now they find themselves in third place in the AL East, 2.5 games behind Boston, 5.5 behind Tampa. I'm sorry, behind Toronto, and you are clinging on to the second wild card spot, and you're tied with Seattle, by the way. So Yankees lose tonight, Seattle wins. Guess what? You're clinging on to that third wild card spot, and Texas is 1.5 games behind you. Guess who you're playing right now? If you get swept by Texas, there's a chance that you come out of this series with no postseason in in the future. And I'm sorry, but this team coming into 2025 was so much better than that. And if it wasn't for Cody Bellinger, and honestly, Cody Bellinger is the only reason why the Yankees are still in this right now, because Belly comes up and he's a ball player, man, and he's the one who has not forgotten how to hit a baseball, how to run on the base paths, but he has no help. None. And this pitching staff is taxed. The bullpen's taxed. You have four closers on this team, and I don't understand how the hell you can't close out one game every single day. I mean, Boone's going to Weaver one game, then he's going to Bednar, and then he's going to Duvall, and then he's going to Williams, and none of these guys can close out these games. It's just none of it makes sense to me at all. But I'll be honest with you here. If it means Aaron Boone gets canned at the end of the year, well, then I hope the Yankees don't make the postseason because something's got to change. Going in next year with a fully healthy pitching staff, Garrett Cole back at the top of the rotation, you get Judge for a full season. It's ridiculous, man, and I don't understand it. The fundamentals of baseball is how you win games, and the Yankees have none of it right now. They I don't know how long this skid is going to go on for. I really don't, but something's got to give. And that's why I like now more than ever. And that's even including 2019, 2020, 2021, whatever fucking year you want to pick. You can pick it out of a hat for all I care. Aaron Boone needs to be fired, whether it's now or by the start of the 2026 season. This cannot go on anymore. So, for that matter, I guess a positive note: Aaron Judge comes back tonight. He's going to be in the lineup. Mark Leiter Jr. is coming back to the bullpen. Jake Bird gets sent down to AAA, and they DFA'd JT Brubaker. So overall, though, I mean, I guess it's pretty cool. Judge is coming back. I get to have some kind of um, you know positive in my life again when it comes to the Yankees. So um, we'll go from there. But yeah, it's extremely negative with the Yankees right now. They're terrible, man. It's the fundamentals of baseball, and I don't understand it. It's the simplicity of the game that the Yankees don't have. They overcomplicate everything. When a runner's on base, they overcomplicate it. When when you need to move the runner in extra innings from second to third, they overcomplicate it. They swing for the long ball every single at bat, and it's ridiculous. And Boone's trying to get cute with the bullpen, and I don't want to put this all on Aaron Boone, but some of those decisions to the bullpen, like I'm telling you, I don't understand why the hell they are so hell bent on getting Devin Williams in the ninth inning. I understand he's a closer; that's what he was brought here for. But if he's not, like, how many games? Sorry, how many games do we have to lose for them to realize Devin Williams can't close out these games? Like, he already lost his closer role once. What's it going to take for him to lose it again? What, when the Yankees are 4 games out of the wild card and it's too late to come back? It's it's honestly it's crazy to me. But yeah. So like I said, I'll leave with a positive, and Aaron Judge comes back tonight. So that's cool.
There you go. There's our team updates. And I think that's gonna do it for this episode. We got a lot of stuff on our minds, and we told you all in
Absolutely.
the last hour.
Absolutely.
Go cool off, Kyle. Go cool off. Go cool
I'm
off.
going I'm gonna go in that damn pool right after this.
Yeah, you should. You guys should have seen it before we came on here and press recorded. There was a freaking butler that came into the camera in a full tuxedo saying, "Can I get you anything else, Mister Wolf?" I'm like, "What the hell is going on over there?" I'm
Uh,
like, "I
abs-
want that here."
yeah, he I mean, he already put out the massage table because he could see how
I could see that. I
I
could
am
see
the
that.
Yankees team.
I could see that. They're taking care of you down there. That's good.
Absolutely. Yes. I got to take my mind off this Yankees team.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna do it for 139. Go say hi to Winnie the Pooh for me.
I will. I'll make sure I do.
Thank you. Those are my two childhood homies right there. Winnie the Pooh and the Cookie Monster. Those are my homies right there. I didn't growing up, I didn't like Elmo, I didn't like Big Bird. I'm like, let me hang with the Cookie Monster and let's see some chocolate chip cookies, God damn it. And let me hang out with Winnie the Pooh and let's enjoy some honey jars together. Let's do that. Those are my two childhood
Absolutely.
homies right there. And Lightning McQueen too. I'll throw them in there too. So
No, I get it. Absolutely.
all right, well, Kyle, go relax, enjoy the rest of your time down there, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. All right, man.
Adios.